So have Sitori Tanin, right? That's a proper pronunciation. All right, I got to get that. Sitori Tanin here with us. Glad she's joining for our episode here of the MOGL podcast. Sitori just wrapped up her junior season, heading into her senior season, competing for the women's basketball team at Loyola Chicago. She's been super dominant on the court over her career, over her 3 years, averaging roughly 8 points, 6 rebounds, and then she's totaled 73 blocks over her career using her height. Satori's majoring in advertising and PR at Loyola Chicago, and a part of the conversation today, she's interning here at MOGL this summer. So welcome to the podcast, Sitori.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously there's a lot going on in your life. It's, the prime years, but, wanted to use the time to, have the audience kind of take a deep dive into what's going on in your life around this time, right? So, want to chat on, obviously, your time here at MOGL this summer, the NIL Summit year 2, which you just wrapped up down in Atlanta. Heading into year 3 of NIL, you've done and you've been around content creation, and so I want to chat around that, and then also to close out the conversation, we want to talk about conference realignment and really what that means for you guys at Loyola Chicago. So first things first, I think the MOGL internship, right? You're taking a deeper dive into MOGL this summer. Obviously, there's things that you saw that were compelling with the opportunity. So kind of want to hear from you as to why you were interested for the summer.
Yeah, for sure. Well, now that I'm working on the athlete relations side, when I first met Brandon, it was actually at the NIL Summit last year. And after that first connection and just me learning about MOGL then, I kind of always had that in the back of my mind. And then I reached out to Brandon as well. And, the way that MOGL really just connects with athletes and having more of that relationship aspect to a marketplace really drew my attention. And I also wanted to see like a different aspect of NIL and more of the brand side or just what goes on behind the scenes almost. And I think having an internship with MOGL will just give me a great opportunity to not only help MOGL gain more athletes to work with and just build a bigger community around NIL, but also helping myself with, my advertising and PR, just studying that and seeing how that can connect with the work that I'm doing. And I really just want to learn as much as I can. And I think having that internship will really help.
Yeah. That's cool because for me, it was the same thing. I don't know. Is this your first internship?
Yeah.
Yeah. It was always just someone giving you an opportunity, right? That's what it was for me, and it actually, not to get to my story, but I knew I wanted to be in business, and I didn't know what exactly. And it took someone to give me an accounting internship at KPMG, which is one of the big 4 accounting firms. And then I went into majoring in accounting. So that was my freshman year internship.
Yeah.
But it kind of just started the path of steering me into some form of working in business. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
And who knows when sport is going to end. But back to you. What are you most interested in as far as the internship program goes this summer? Obviously, we're in the first couple of days, and you just wrapped up the NIL Summit, but what are you looking forward to?
I think really just working with fellow athletes and reaching out to them, showing them what MOGL offers, and also learning from you, Brandon, and everyone else at MOGL, because there's so many different aspects that literally it's everything that I want to learn about in one startup or one company. So I think exploring those different areas, like the marketing, the different sides of it, or just advertising, but through social media for MOGL. I'm excited to explore each of those avenues, but it's also related to sports, so it's a perfect combination.
Right. Yeah. Did you ever think about the startup space? if you thought about what you would have wanted to do for an internship or even your first job, once sport is done for you, like, do you ever think startups and entrepreneurship would be of interest to you?
Honestly, no, I didn't. It was never really on my mind or like an idea of it. But now that I'm working it, there's like so many, like having an internship with you guys, I feel like I have a good space to like have a impact. So
Yeah.
I like that aspect of it as well.
Yeah, I think that's one of the biggest things
Yeah.
for me as a co-founder is just like having my hand, like I did have my hand in every piece of the business to get it to where it is today. And so it gives you flexibility and the ability to learn so many different things. And then I think the last question I wanted to kind of bring up on the internship side is like, do you like how should college athletes think about internships and the kind of the overlap with NIL, right? Like what you're
Yeah.
doing, I think is really unique.
Hmm.
Again, it's a startup company, sports, it's everything relevant to what you want to do and what you're doing.
Hmm.
Like, how could an athlete, take advantage of NIL and leverage that for work experience and resume building?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, first off, it looks great on a resume just having those different avenues with whichever company you find an internship with. But for me, I wanted to keep as many doors open because right now, like there's not one specific thing that I am just like I guess set on. I'm still pretty young, going into my senior year, but I do have 2 years left because of COVID. But uh, I wanted to find something that kind of encapsulated like everything that I'm interested in, but didn't like force me into a corner of something that I need to do. So
Yeah,
I think when looking at it and like using NIL, if you have ideas or just something that you want to share or different avenues that you don't want to close off yet, try and like dive into that and see if there's any areas that are offering internships. Reach out to people. I reached out to Brandon, and I'm grateful that he gave me this opportunity. But you never know who you're going to meet, or through those networking opportunities, you never know who's going to give you an
yeah.
option to intern. So
Yeah, for me, it's just the fact that you took initiative. I think I'm big on taking initiative, even for NIL and landing brand deals, right? The more
yeah,
initiative that you take with brands and reaching out to whoever's running their influencer marketing campaigns, which is generally somebody who's running their Instagram,
right.
like it works the same way. And for me, it was just I was impressed that you had taken that initiative and followed up, uh, even from the NIL summit. And so, good transition here, Satori.
Mhm.
If for folks who don't know what the NIL summit is in
Yeah.
Atlanta, put on by Influencer, um, would you mind explaining what the 3 days entail?
Yeah. So like Brandon said, it's 3 days. The first day it's kind of like a half day, more of a night, I guess. That um, it has the NIL awards. So it's basically awards that are for athletes that really, took advantage of NIL this whole past year, I guess. All different sports, all different divisions are invited, and there's a whole award show basically, a dinner, and you get to meet a bunch of different athletes there, and really
Were
cool
you
people.
nominated for any?
I wasn't nominated this year. No, I wasn't.
Which
Um,
one were you nominated for last year?
what?
Which
Last year
one?
I wasn't either. No, I just,
You just get to go enjoy it.
yeah, basically. I don't have to be nervous about thinking about a speech or something. Maybe next year, that should be a
Yeah,
goal of mine.
you're gonna kill it. Yeah.
Thanks. um, yeah, so that's the first night, and you just kind of meet everyone, and then there was a performance by Flage this year, and she performed last year, which was awesome.
Right.
Um, yeah, that was really cool. And there's different opportunities to get content each of the days, which is really, really awesome, especially, having it around NIL. Everyone is using that as leverage for their content making. And then the next 2 days, so usually it's a Saturday, and then Sunday and Monday are all panels in different booths of brands or companies that are working within the NIL space. and you can really just build your network, talk to people there. That's how I met Brandon. And then the panels, there's a lot of information to learn about NIL, which, there's the best, honestly, I think, was from the fellow student athletes that spoke in their experiences.
That's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of interesting stuff. I mean, we missed it obviously this year. It was a little expensive, but I mean, even from year one, it was so valuable for us,
Yeah.
and obviously valuable for the 400 to 500. Would you say there was the same amount of athletes there as last year, like
Yes,
400?
there was honestly, I think, more this year.
Okay.
Yeah, so it definitely grew.
Yeah. So I think what I saw, Satori, even like you posting that with Chase Griffin.
Yeah.
Check her out on Instagram. Plug yourself. What's your Instagram?
Yeah, at Sitori Tanin, all lowercase.
Okay. Cool. Go check it out.
Yeah.
But just a question: was there more like allotted space for people to create content? Like, was that embedded in the schedule? Because it looked like more than last year, there was people and athletes like specifically creating content. From the event.
Yeah, I wouldn't say there was like allotted or like a specific time, but almost I think it's because there was already one last year and people kind of, the people that were returning, like they had ideas or
They knew.
Yeah, they wanted to like take advantage of it, but also I think the athletes, like, they wanted to connect with each other more, which that's what Chase was talking about too, and was really true about this year. Like, from athlete to athlete is how a lot of the content was made this year. So
yeah, that's what it looked like. That's cool.
Yeah.
What was your biggest takeaway from the week, the panel, or even if it was what Chase was referencing, right? Like the athlete to athlete dynamic was way stronger this year. But what was your biggest takeaway?
Yeah, my biggest takeaway, it's kind of, based off what Chase was saying, was just building those connections with fellow athletes and making those collaborations is what can really help your NIL, no matter what it is, if you want to work with brands or just build your social media. And also hearing from the other student athlete panels, when you're making content and putting like, your name and image and likeness all out on social media, that can be hard for, if you get rude comments or anything like that, or just if you're still building your platform. It was really important to hear, like Anna Camden said this, that anyone that's doing more than you out there is not going to be criticizing you. It's those who are doing less, and you don't have to take that in, like, what you're doing is you're accomplishing something and you're on your own journey. So I thought that was really powerful.
Yeah, it's like the man in the arena, right? I don't know if you're familiar with that. I'll send it to you, but it's like the man in the arena is the one that's being criticized, right? By everyone who's not obviously competing. Would you say Anna's panel, I'm sure she was on the panel when she mentioned that, would you say hers stuck out to you the most? I'm kind of just curious. Was there any other like profound moment from any of the athletes that had their panel session?
Yeah, her panel was definitely one of the most impactful. Sorry, there's sirens in the back. I don't know if you can hear that.
What's going on in the city?
Yeah, Chicago. But there was 3 other female athletes that I actually was in. It's called Meta's NIL Empower 2.0 that I got the chance to work with them. So seeing them in person, that was also one of the greatest experiences from the summit, was working with them and being able to create content with them, like actually in person instead of just talking to them online. But yeah, their whole panel, and just, it's different schools that are like known or have that big name. It was really awesome to see like other athletes there, that you don't even have to be the best player on the team. You don't have to go to the largest school, like different people are making different strides in NIL. And I think that's one of like the coolest things about it, honestly.
Yeah, I would even say for you,
Yeah.
like you're at a school with smaller, lesser recognition
Yeah.
than some of these programs who are investing in complete NIL like schools like
Hmm.
Clemson,
Exactly.
creating studios and but you've
Yeah.
done a phenomenal job of just creating your own content and your personal content and building your brand from that
Hmm.
way. What would you take away, or what would you use from the summit, or even from the panels, Satori, that you can leverage into going into year three as we head into year
Hmm.
three?
Yeah. I mean, there's so much. I learned a lot. And
Yeah,
I think going forward is continuing to use the network that I've built with fellow athletes, like I said before, and just trying to, you know, really keep in contact with those other athletes. And last year at the summit, I was like so inspired, wanted to make so much content right away. And one of my
yeah,
goals this year from it is just to remember that and try and like pull that like throughout the whole year. Like I want to like look back and be like, you know what, I want to do this. I'm writing down all my goals, and I think that's also one of the things about going to a smaller school where I've had to like I guess work for my NIL more, just getting my name
yeah,
out there. And I'm kind of grateful for that I've had to like put this work in because I can um, now see different ways that it pays off, and I know what I have to do to get there, I guess.
yeah. Um, what I guess kind of skipping over a part that I wanted to ask you, but does I
Yeah.
guess going into the conference realignment, right? You guys are now in the
Yeah.
Atlantic 10.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Came away from, what was it called, the Missouri Valley
Yeah.
Conference.
NBC. Yeah.
Um, how does that impact NIL for you, right? Like,
Yeah.
is that a direct impact? Do you see that as a direct impact?
Mm-hmm.
Um, can you speak on that a little bit?
Yeah. I definitely think it has an impact on it. Going into the new conference, like there's definitely a whole new audience, I guess. So either
Yeah,
if it's from playing, people watching you play, different um, teams that you're making connections with, because like how it is. You're playing against different players that you know the name of. You end up growing like connections with them through social media,
yeah,
and that can have an impact on NIL or just your own platform through Instagram, whatever platform it is. Um, and the A10 definitely is like a harder conference and more competition, and getting to the NCAA tournament, I think, is like a bigger opportunity. Obviously, NBC, like both conferences have a team that go, but I think it would be a great opportunity for us to make it to the tournament as well as face bigger competition that can help get my name and my teammates' name like on the board, I guess.
yeah. It's probably inevitably going to be more national recognition for you and playing more bigger time, games, right?
Yeah,
Bigger time
for sure.
games. Um, so that's awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. What else did I have for you? I don't think I had much else, but uh, what else? I guess the last thing we can chat about is I want to go back to the content for athletes at smaller schools, right? Like
Yeah.
what was your approach, Satori? Were you always like from day one, July 1, interested in NIL, or
Yeah.
was there a time where like it really piqued your interest and you were like, okay, this is a really cool opportunity for me to kind of change my life and change the trajectory of like what I want to do, or like how did you kind of enter the space?
Yeah. I guess I've always had an interest in content creation and like videography or just building my own social media. Um, because I have a YouTube channel. Shout out, that's Sitori Tanin. Um, and that's kind of where I like started off just making content. It wasn't really on like Instagram or TikTok or whatever. But when I was younger, I actually like I would make dumb YouTube videos, and then I guess going into college, actually during COVID, I started to make videos again, and found like my passion for it again. Thought it would be really cool because I wanted to go on YouTube and like see what it was like being a student athlete in college. You know, I was ambitious. I was like, what is this going to be like? You know, and I didn't find that many videos out there. So I really wanted to make those videos, you know, kind of just day in the life or vlogs or just different things that a student athlete might want to see. And I started to make those videos on my YouTube. So then once NIL came around, I was like, this is a great opportunity. I want to, you know, reach out to brands and maybe I can use my YouTube or just different like aspects of my platform to like spread, you know, whatever they want to share about their own brand. So that was kind of my connection, I guess.
Cool. Can you hear me still?
Yeah.
Awesome. Cool. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I guess quick rapid fire, if I can think of some off the top of my head. But would you rather use Instagram or YouTube to create content? Or
That's
TikTok?
right now, probably YouTube because I can do long version video and short because now there's YouTube Shorts. But I do love Instagram too.
Year one of NIL Summit or year two of NIL Summit?
Year two, more content creation.
Yeah. Record double-digit blocks in a game or double-digit assists in a game?
Oh,
I mean,
they're great.
let me rephrase that. Record 5 blocks in a game or double-digit assists?
Okay. Double digit assists, closer to a triple double.
Oh, interesting. It's hard to record double-digit blocks. That's why I needed to.
Yeah, I mean, double digit blocks would get me on Sports Center. So.
Yeah, right? Be like, I don't even know who's done that before. WNBA or content creation?
Both?
Okay. You could probably, everyone, yeah, you can easily do both, right? Very feasible.
If that's an option.
Cool. I think that's it. I think that's all I got. How can people find you? Let everybody know where your socials are.
Yeah. Instagram at Sitori Tanin, all one word, all lowercase. YouTube at Sitori Tanin. TikTok at Sitori Tan, no IN at the end. And Twitter at Sitori Tanin. All pretty similar. Yeah.
Cool. Well, we'll make sure to tag and spell it correctly for the people who are
Yeah.
obviously on the sites. But other than that, Tori, thanks so much for joining. Obviously, I'm super excited to have you be a part of the team this summer, and look forward to helping you build your NIL career.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me. Excited for the summer.